Earlier this year, I decided to not homestead. I know, heresy of the highest order. I decided not to homestead. Now, recently, a year and a half ago, I moved out to this property here, which is 0.9 acres. It's surrounded by farms, and it's kind of not in the suburbs. It's kind of like on the very edge of suburbs. So there's like suburbs zoning requirements and stuff like that. But, you know, in actuality, I'm surrounded by people who have a lot of land, right? Even though I'm sitting on only 0.9 acres, I'm kind of in a rural kind of environment. So homesteading, I was saying, well, because it's just me, I'm the only person living here, right? Then, yeah, I don't have my parents living with me. I'm not in their attic. Some people say that. It's kind of funny. I'm a little old for that. Yeah, so I own this place, and I have not moved to homesteading. I seriously considered it, and I came up with a full plan of how to turn this 0.9 acres into a self-sufficient homestead. And I have, as of this beginning of this year, I have taken that plan and I have put it aside and said I am not going to do that currently. I'm going to implement some aspects of that, and I will be unfolding more and more of some of the infrastructure aspects to that because I want to be able to scale up to a homestead if I need to, but I have chosen not to homestead. Let me walk you through some of the reasons of why I'm doing that. First reason is that I'm on 0.9 acres. So that is... it's going to be hard on this property. There's a lot of things I can't do, and then with zoning, there's even more things that I can't do. It's not quite as straightforward as if I was out in the country or if I was in a place where you can basically just start building a building or start building a greenhouse or start building a fence. Here, there's theoretically zoning requirements. So if I were to drill a well in my backyard like I have the equipment for, I'd have to get a permit for that, probably. So whether you see that on video or not, we'll see about that. But anyway, all that to say, it's a little bit not quite so straightforward here. I could just start scaling things up if I didn't have to deal with any of the bureaucratic nonsense, if I didn't have to deal with a lot of stuff. I can't have certain animals on the property. So whether I could get away with it anyway, that's a whole nother story. But that's one of the reasons. I could still do it, given, I seriously consider scaling up rabbits and, I have chickens that lay eggs, but they're not self-sufficient because I'm not allowed to have a rooster. I know, dumb rules, but... I have enough garden space that I could become self-sufficient for one person, which is me. So I am moving more towards expanding my gardens, and I have started to focus more on my gardens as experiments, as test beds, and also so that I can start reproducing my own seeds. So I've really focused in on growing plants that I can harvest the seeds and reuse the seeds because I want to be as self-sufficient as possible. I want to have the seeds so that I can become self-sufficient if I need to. So that's number one. So it's not quite so straightforward. Number two is that I do have farms around me. So I am surrounded by people and have relationships with people that have bigger farms, and while they may not be able to use their equipment and stuff like that, if the grid were to go down, I could probably actually earn my keep more by doing manual labor for them and helping them bring their harvest in that they already have in the ground. So for me, it's kind of it's not quite as necessary, and knowing that they have just ridiculous amounts of experience with growing things, it seems like it'd almost be better for me to kind of be working on their team rather than me just trying to figure everything out on my own. Not to say that I'm not trying, not to say that I'm not working on those things, but it's not quite as important for me. Three, it's just me. So I'm not playing with other people's lives right now. I'm playing with my own life. So I can kind of get away with some more. If you have a family, you might need to take different approaches, right? So I have taken the idea that I am going to stock up for me and for potentially a whole family to come out and live with me if things were to go really south. So that's been basically my prepping plan, is to have enough food for me and a number of other people that are living here, that as we convert this property into a farm, and also working with certain neighbors and such like that to bring in their harvest, and also to make their land productive and such. So becoming self-sufficient over 2 years is kind of the ballpark. So that's my kind of threshold idea there, is have enough food for 2 years for all the people that will be living here, and then as much as I can, just so that I can give out to other people. If we can scale up the homestead here faster, or if I can make an arrangement to help bring in crops, and we'll be able to take in a bunch of those crops as payment for that work, then I may be able to give out more of that food quicker, is kind of the thought process. Okay, so we're on to 4. 4 is this, the YouTube. This has become a major source of my effort, and I'm pouring ridiculous amounts of time into this. If I was married, I would probably be divorced by about now. 10 months into this video marathon, a lot of you have noticed that I put out a lot of videos, and I actually do the thumbnails and the SEO gibberish and all that kind of stuff like that, and I do a tremendous amount of learning. I am developing, and I have projects in the works to make videos better, and I have plans to make these videos easier on your ears and easier on your eyes. So maybe we'll just kind of black me out, and that's not too far from the truth, actually. I've been looking into getting some more B-roll and stuff like that. But anyway, so I've been putting a lot of time into YouTube because I think that I'm creating value for you guys. You guys watching tells me that you guys seem to think that you're getting something of value from me. And that means that, if I'm able to have an impact on the world that's helpful to other people, that leads me into the next point. The next point is that I lost count where I'm on, 5 or something like that. Is my mission and purpose in life is not to survive. My mission and purpose in life, as a single gentleman, I have very good odds of being able to survive, especially where I am and the relationships and friends that I have, as well as the assets that I have. So my mission and purpose in life is to help other people. And so, like I just said, YouTube is part of that, but then also I have some other missions and projects that I'm working on with my church. I really want to pour more time into that and helping other people. And I am an ordained minister, so I am ordained to the gospel ministry. And that means that my mission is to get the gospel out there. I do not use this channel primarily for that. I have my Bible teaching channel, but I also have a missions channel that I really want to get off the ground, which, if I can get that off the ground, will really change some of the dynamics of the videos that I produce here. Hopefully getting more travel in and getting out to more people in various parts of the country to be able to give a better flavor of what's going on out there, and meeting many of you, maybe possibly traveling internationally as well to other places, depending on whether the grid is up or not. We need to plan like the grid is up, and we need to plan like the grid will go down. Okay, we need to plan for both of those things. If you only plan for one, that's kind of unbalanced, right? We need to plan for both. So I have dreams and aspirations if the grid somehow manages to stay up. And if I were to get rabbits and livestock and even gardening intensively, may require me to stay put here when I need to travel. And so all that to say, I am taking a lot of steps more on the stocking up side of things rather than on the homesteading side of things. So hopefully that kind of gives you some idea of how I have a strategy to go forward, but it's not just grow all your own food right now in case the grid comes down, right? And once again, that's not a knock whatsoever on homesteaders or homesteading channels or anything like that. I have all the respect in the world for people who are doing that. In fact, I'd really like to go out and see and visit and help them communicate what they are doing. People who are not on YouTube that are homesteading, that have things to share, knowledge and wisdom. A lot of you guys have been doing this for 15, 20, 30 or more years. Those of you who have generational farms that have been using practices that are self-sufficient. Those are amazing practices that we want to keep alive. And I find myself to be more of a connector. I don't believe this channel really functions the best with me showing you all of my daily struggles to learn basic tasks, when you can watch other channels that have much more advanced skills and can really point you in the right direction quicker. So if it's for the entertainment value of seeing me do a horrible job and getting to laugh at me as I'm doing things, not to say that I take myself so seriously, and so you'll see some of that. See some of my attempts and such like that. We're coming up where I'm going to have to show you my garden, my new lower garden, which is embarrassing, but I'm trying. And I'm putting stuff in the ground and trying to do some experiments to see what I can kind of get away with. And I may not be able to get away with what I just tried, but I got some other parts that are going better. So all that to say, I am learning. I am growing. I am preparing myself to become self-sufficient if need be, but I'm not going all in on it at this point. Now, like I said, if you got enough rice and beans stocked up, you can have some luxuries of not becoming self-sufficient quite as fast. And that's a thought for you guys who are living more in the city. If you don't have access to land to really do that, whether you can develop relationships with people outside the city so that you can move out of the city to places out there, that might be a great move for you. But so hopefully you understand, and I've said this repeatedly, there are a lot of strategies on how to survive. There's a lot of ways forward to survive. There's a bunch of ways in which you won't make it, okay? And then there's some providence, or if you would like to call it more dumb luck, things where bad things will just happen to good people. You may have all the preparations in store and just a tower will fall on you. Is that because they're more righteous or less righteous than the rest of us? Sometimes a tower just falls on people because God said so, or from your other perspective on whether it's just, random chance. All that to say, do what you can, but don't take yourself too seriously. Take things that you're doing seriously, but always leave room and margin for adapting your plan when all of your supplies suddenly burn down, because that happens. If you haven't seen that happen to people, it happens. And the curveballs will come your way. And you need to be able to deal with that. Whether you're the perfect homesteader, your crops may not come out. Your crops may not sprout. They may get dried out. They may get blasted by the heat. They may get bitten by the frost. As you watch these homesteading channels, you can see that firsthand. It's not always a 100% certainty that they're going to be able to get a crop out of the ground or get a sufficient crop out of the ground. So you better have food stockpiled, right? And the homesteading channels that you see out there that are preppers absolutely do have food stockpiled. So please think how you will survive. Don't just watch videos and say, I can't, so therefore I won't. Come up with a plan. Who can you lean on? Who can you bring into your life? Who can you develop a friendship with? If you need resources, then you're going to need friends. And that's going to be important to reach out to folks. All right, hopefully this is helpful, and hopefully it kind of also helps you understand a little bit where I'm coming from on this channel. I was originally trying to turn this this place into a homestead, but as the opportunity has come forward to do more travel, maybe this fall, some things may be changing along those ways, and that will help me to achieve more of my life goals. As long as the grid stays up. If the grid goes down, I don't know if I'll be doing YouTube videos anymore because the internet may not exist anymore. But if it does, I will keep doing my best to keep putting out videos. I have enough electric backup and solar to be able to keep doing that, I believe. So that's encouraging at least. All right. If you like this video, you might want to check out this video over here. Otherwise, I will see you later. Steve Poplar, out.